welcome to this session to celebrate World Youth Skills Day. I'm Sana from Pakistan. Coming up, we'll be looking at issues surrounding youth skills and employment. Today, we've got 4 guests standing by for us. First, I'm going to ask each one of them to introduce themselves a little. Let's start with Andrea.
Good morning from the side of the world. My name is Andrea Remes, and currently I am the co-founder of a social venture called Women STEM. And there, what we aim is to bridge the gap between young women and men in STEM areas in Mexico.
And over to you, Praise.
Good afternoon from South Africa. My name is Praise Majwafi, and I'm a 21-year-old agent of the creative economy and co-founder of iAfrica, an e-commerce marketplace and online storefront for Made in Africa brands.
Thank you so much. Moving on to Nadi.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nadi Albino. I'm a senior advisor on partnerships with Generation Unlimited. If I didn't have opportunities offered to me in my life as a young person, I wouldn't be here today. So I was first 10 years of my life as a refugee, and then out of that, of the refugee camp, into Kenya, where my father worked as a teacher. And the opportunities that really were offered to me in that country is why I am here today. And that's why I'm so excited to see young people here with the opportunity to speak. And welcome, Bob.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, from whichever time zone you may be watching this. My name is Bob Moritz. I'm the chairman of PwC. We have about 285,000 employees around the world. The reason I'm here today is we have a big focus on the skilling of society at large. We launched a program about 2 years ago called New World, New Skills, focusing on upskilling our own people, helping our clients and the countries we operate upskill the people and the citizens of those respective countries, and to work with others like Generation Unlimited to focus on the youth in particular around how we connect, how we help educate, how we empower the youth, and how we incent entrepreneurship for the future potential for the individuals and the youth of the world of today and the leaders of tomorrow. And I'm really looking forward to the conversations that we have over the next few minutes.
Thank you so much, Bob, for joining us today and taking out the time. And we hope that the discussions and dialogues that we have today can prove to be as ambitious and as fruitful as we hope for them to be. And before we jump into the discussion, we have a short video for you. So let's get into it. Now, as we open the dialogue, my first question is to Andrea and Praise. Which number one skill are you keen to develop over the coming year, Andrea?
As an extrovert, I sometimes struggle to just take the backseat and sit down and listen to people. And I think this is showing us sometimes what we need to develop are just basic skills, which is communication, for instance. The other day I was watching Hamilton, the musical. I don't know if you've ever seen it. But there was this beautiful line by one of the characters telling Hamilton, well, sometimes the very thing you can do is actually talk less, smile more. So this is something that I would actually need to be really working on for the following year.
And now Praise.
The world as we know it is changing and morphing into a new normal. And being flexible and adaptable is something we've all had to get used to over the last few months. And, while being flexible in school and work was once aligned with geographic mobility, it is now about having an open mindset and being able to work well under pressure, prioritizing tasks, and in some instances, taking on additional responsibilities.
My next question is to Nadi and Bob. What skills do you think are the most important to acquire in order to thrive? And what do you look for in people? Bob.
We look for people to actually demonstrate they're willing to learn. A lifetime of learning is super important. Even today, I'm still learning with every interaction I have, including the interactions I'm having with you guys today. So this concept of always learning and applying that learning in new and different ways is a skill that is very important. Again, to demonstrate that resiliency, that agility, and the ability to adopt in a big time way. My other piece of advice, though, would be people have to focus on how do you problem solve? How do you drive change? We're asking the citizens of the world and the youth, the leaders of tomorrow, to actually help drive the change we all need. So demonstrating the skills that are required to actually problem solve and then drive change in scale is hugely important. And that's a combination of subject matter expertise in deep technical areas and the softer skills that are equally as important as you think about creativity, communication, and social interactions in a big time way.
Nadi, I'd like to ask you the same question.
Oftentimes we listen to answer. So you think somebody is actually listening, but they're already formulating the answer in their head. So everybody responds because they feel they know, but they actually haven't listened to what is being said. And I think one of the most profound things I learned, I just came back from Botswana and I had lots of consultations with young people. And this is what they're saying. It's that you sit there and you nod and you smile and you give us answers. It's as if you've actually heard us. But when we go back to reality, it looks like nobody's actually heard us.
Nadi and Bob, young people, don't feel like the skills and training programs that are currently being offered to them matches their career aspirations and interests. What do you think needs to be done?
I personally believe that we have to engage with young people such as yourselves. I also believe that we have to engage with potential employers, whether it's in the private sector, public sector, civil society, etc., to understand what exists in the market and also to provide the kind of skills that Bob talked about earlier: transferable skills, soft skills, foundational skills, technical skills, etc., with a good understanding of what is out there.
The reality is, Nadi, as well as myself, are involved with the organization Generation Unlimited. What are we trying to do? We're trying to actually leverage technology to connect people to education and skills opportunities, either skilling or upskilling. We're providing content. And through that mechanism, what we need to have is people to be self-interested. So if you're not picking up the skills that you see and need and believe you will need in the future, we look for the self-motivated people to jump in and find them. There's plenty of opportunities to learn. And organizations like PwC and others like us are actually putting that information out publicly for people to tap into that. So we also want people to lean in to the opportunities to be self-motivated and to self-teach through some of the curriculum that we're putting out in the marketplace on a broader basis and for free for people to take advantage of, because we know this issue is a real challenge.
We will continue our session in just a moment. But before that, we asked a number of young people about skills and work issues. Here's what they had to say.
The one thing that would make the difference for me is to actually learn all the skills and tools that the job market will require from me once I graduate from university. I feel like we are learning all the theory and the content, which is really important, but not being able to acquire the skills, the practical skills that we will need later on the field is a huge miss.
I feel that the skills that are the most important in the future world of work are the social skills, because we are witnessing over 100 million workers worldwide may need to switch their occupations by 2030. The jobs that won't be automated and will still be needed are the jobs that require social intelligence that robots are far from replicating. Thus, we need to focus on identifying the right skills to train on and also advocating and raising awareness regarding this issue.
The pandemic has affected my education in that I am not able to go into a physical classroom, interact with my classmates, my lecturers, and get to have the traditional sense of a classroom. However, it has not been all that bad. I can say I've had a positive experience because I'm a young person who has access to the internet, and that has made life much easier, and that is what I wish for other young people.
Those were some really interesting comments. Andrea, how has the pandemic impacted your own career?
Thanks, Anna. Well, my career was literally turned upside down during the pandemic. Literally a year ago, I was working in event management. I was a programs and event management assistant. So if you work in event management, you're basically doing person stuff. You are facing people every single day. You're going to a different venue. You're getting in touch with people. You're setting, a stage. You're making sure that their mics are working, these sort of things. So when the pandemic comes, there's no place to convene. There's no place to gather. So for a couple months, we were kind of paralyzed and saying, how are we going to do this? How are we going to work? Are people actually going to enjoy still going to online events, so on and so forth? Is Zoom fatigue going to be a thing or not? And it was like a while before we realized that it actually worked and it allowed us to have a greater impact and reach out more people. Beforehand, we were really localized and working and stuff related to Mexico. And afterwards, we expanded to the extent of now having people from almost 47 different nationalities.
Thank you, Andrea, for sharing your experiences of the pandemic. And definitely, it has really been life-altering, is what I can say. Praise, over to you.
The pandemic has really impacted, every aspect of life, if I may be honest. But for me, it's actually motivated me in a way that I can't, fully encapsulate, because, the journey of entrepreneurship is one that is unpredictable. It's one that nothing is certain, nothing is handed to you. So seeing the world like morphing into something that is unpredictable, like just for me, showed me that like what I was doing was something that, was meant for me. So it has impacted my career in such a way that like, you're working from your bedroom, you're working from your bed. And I hope not to walk into the boardroom with a gown after this, but it's been good. The challenges have been challenging, but we move forward, and as long as we're solving problems.
Definitely hoping on better times and some degree of normality, hopefully soon. Nadi and Bob, I now have a question for you. So how do you feel that businesses and governments play a role in upskilling people at the scale that is needed so that they can participate fully in the economy and society? Nadi?
We have to break the mold. We have to be bold enough and revolutionary enough in the way we think and do things when we say we want to engage with young people on the issues that are pertinent to them. And how can we do that? We hope that, in terms of engaging with yourselves, and you're coming with the solutions, that those of us who have the resources and the power have the boldness to say, this is a great idea, we can invest in it and we can support young people to take this forward. So really, for me, I think the challenge is about being bold, about being revolutionary, about, breaking the status quo, and about walking the talk.
It requires everybody to play a role. It requires everybody to listen carefully, apply those learning and those soft skills about listening carefully, reacting appropriately, and then scaling what they're learning and applying that learning in a big time way so society benefits. And each of the citizens in the world that are in need actually have an opportunity to participate and prosper and not be disadvantaged by perhaps where they are or the access to the skill opportunities that exist today in the locations that they're residing in.
So just before we go, I have one final question for all of you. Looking ahead, how optimistic are you about the future? Starting with Praise.
Thank you, Sana. I believe the future is a very beautiful place. In the hands of Generation Unlimited, the largest generation of young people in history, the potential for global progress is unlimited. And through purposeful engagement and collaboration, nothing can stand in our way. And that makes the future a beautiful place for me.
In face of hardship, we always have the possibilities either to stagnate or to thrive. And that's the motto I wake up every day to, thrive to survive. So I think youth have all the power, the tools, and the opportunities to make that happen.
In terms of why I'm so optimistic is not looking backward, but looking forward. Each of you, Sana, Andrea, Praise, you guys are leading. You guys are leaning into the opportunities and you guys are having impact with the youth. That gives me a tremendous potential and potential hope that's out there that everybody should reflect on. And that's where the youth empowerment, as both of you have described, I think is going to create great opportunity, great future potential, and a lot of opportunity for people around the world. And I thank you guys for all of your active participation in this.
For me, two things for me that drive me forward in thinking about what we have started to do collectively with Generation Unlimited and such amazing people as the young people we have on this call, and of course, captains of industry as yourself, Bob. One, the Chinese proverb, a journey of 1,000,000 miles starts with one step. Second, an African proverb, To go fast, you go alone. To go far, we go together. So yes, praise. The future is a beautiful place. And yes, Bob, because of these amazing young people that we have here, the future is a beautiful place. And, Sana and Andrea, all the energy and the articulation and smartness that you're bringing and the passion that you're bringing to bear in this journey is just going to be an amazing world tomorrow. So I am confident that as an old woman, I will be looked after and I will be happy because we have young people such as yourself to lead tomorrow. Thank you.